Samsung has finally fixed not one, but two of the biggest issues for the new Z Fold 6, and this is looking like their best foldable yet, so hit subscribe now and we're going to get right into it. So first story of the day before we get into the exciting stuff, we've got a new report from the Elec and they advise that the cheaper Fold without the S Pen support that we've all been hearing about has actually been cancelled, and the report says that due to insufficient product differentiation and market uncertainties, Samsung have cancelled the launch, and to be honest I think it was a wise move. The foldable market just isn't big enough yet, and I imagine a budget fold is still going to be very expensive, so it's best to wait until they can reduce the cost further. Next up, we got a tweet from Crow, and he says that the Fold 6 has reached the final stage, and this is likely why all the confirmations about the design and the specifications are coming in. Now first up, he advises that the Fold 6 is going to be increasing battery life by 2 hours thanks to a change in display material, and as we covered last week, Samsung are going to be working on AI software and it's going to analyze the usage patterns in order to optimize the background tasks and extend battery life even further. As well as new material, Ice Universe has also tweeted the dimensions of the display, and he advises that the Z Fold 6 is a scaled down version of the Vivo X Fold 3, and we can see it's 132.6 by 153.5mm with an aspect ratio of around 8:7, so it's not as wide as we first thought from all the rumors, but it's a wider form factor than the Fold 5, which is great to hear. Now, as well as a new form factor, we're also going to be getting an upgrade to the ultra-thin glass of the display, and Ice Universe advises that according to testers, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 does reduce the creasing in the center of the display, and we've also got a report from the Elec, and they advise that Samsung's ultra-thin glass is going to be increasing from 30 microns thick all the way to 50 microns, and this is a very big improvement. Now, not only does this reduce the creasing in the center of the display, but it also adds a lot more durability, and this, along with a brighter and more accurate display, means that it is by far Samsung's best foldable display yet. If that wasn't enough, we've got another tweet from Crow, and he says that the Fold 6 camera is greater than the S24 camera, and something I know that a lot of you have been waiting to see. Now, it's important to note that he's clearly talking about the base model of the S24 and not the S24 Ultra, and for those of you that watch all of my videos regularly, you'll have noticed that Crow does say a lot, and not all of it turns out to be correct. And then of course, we've had Ice Universe tell us already that it's going to be the exact same camera system as the Z Fold 5, so take this one with a grain of salt for now. But the main upgrades we're going to see with the Fold 6 are going to be a better display, improved performance and battery life thanks to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and of course the new battery saving technologies. Now, we've got a lot of improvements in software and AI features thanks to the partnership between Samsung and Google, but for those of you excited about the new Z Fold 6, we're now going to run through the full specs, design and the expected pricing, so hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, we get a 7.6-inch foldable 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. While it's the same size as its predecessor, we're expecting improvements in brightness, color accuracy, as well as durability. It's coming with a resolution of 1812 by 2176 and is going to be protected by Samsung's newest ultra-thin glass. Now, there's also going to be less visible creasing in the center of the new foldable display, as well as water and dust resistance. For the external display, we get a 120Hz dynamic AMOLED protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 3. It's going to be a 6.2-inch display, and while the current resolution is unknown at the moment, Samsung are reportedly working on a much wider aspect ratio, and we're also going to see improvements to the brightness and color accuracy, and it will of course have a punch-hole camera in the top center. Now, the selfie cameras are going to be a 10-megapixel wide-angle camera on the cover display, followed by a 4-megapixel under-display camera on the internal display. Then over on the rear, it's a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, and then a 10-megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom. Now, it's actually the same camera system used in the predecessor, but hopefully we will still see some improvements thanks to the software. It's going to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 globally, and we get 12GB of RAM with up to 1TB of storage, and this will of course be UFS 4.1. It's coming with a 4400 mAh battery, and while fast charging is still currently unknown, we're hoping for improvements to both wired as well as wireless charging. In terms of connectivity, we get advanced 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7, and then we also get ultra-wideband support, and it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from $1,850 in August 2024. So overall, the Z Fold 6 is looking like another minor upgrade to the Fold series, and again, they're focusing on software and user experience rather than completely redesigning the phone, but the upgrades that we are going to get are pretty important ones. Now personally, I'm starting to feel like Samsung are playing it a little bit too safe now, and the Fold is supposed to be a very premium device and leading the way in terms of innovation, yet the camera specs just never seem to match that, but of course their main issue here is keeping the overall cost down. Now the new form factor is going to be a refreshing change, and it's going to be interesting to see how consumers react to it, but personally I would have liked to see just a little bit more width in the display. Now given its similarities from the predecessor, I can't imagine anyone with a Fold 5 is going to be rushing for an upgrade, but if you've got an older Fold or you're looking to get your first Fold, then it could be a great choice. And with launch fast approaching, the leaks are now going to come flooding in, and of course I'll be sharing them as soon as they come in, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.